Today I'm here to talk to you about the law of stolen or missing firearms. A lot of people ask all the time what to do if their firearm is stolen out of their truck or they lose it at the grocery store, in the restroom, or whatever the case may be. And one of the first questions is it a crime to lose my gun or to not properly store it in my car? And the answer to that is no. Texas does not criminalize losing your gun or expect you to know when a robber is going to break into your car and prevent that. All Texas law requires is that you do not negligently store the firearm, such that it makes it accessible to a child. What that means is you knew or should have known a child would gain access to it. So as long as you don't negligently store the firearm such that it makes it accessible to a child, you're in the clear. Now, what should you do? Should you report it? Should you just let it go? It's a good idea to report if your firearm is stolen or missing. What you don't want to happen is that the bad guy who stole your firearm goes on a shooting spree, and then the police figure out the gun was yours and trace it back to you. So make sure you report your firearm is stolen to the police. It also means that if they do ever recover it, even if it's years down the road, you may end up getting your firearm back. So you kind of have two very important reasons to report your firearm is stolen. We also get asked all the time, are there any particular laws in Texas that govern how I have to store it in my car? Does it have to be in a safe? Does it have to be in a glove box? Does the car have to be locked or unlocked or anything like that? Again, the answer is no. There's no specific requirement of how you store the gun in your vehicle. But keep in mind, again, we fall back to making it negligently accessible to a child. You don't want to leave your car unlocked and doors open at a children's birthday party where you know children are coming and going from your car. So as long as you can maintain that level of care, you should be fine. Another question we get asked is, are there any kind of magic phrases or any other specific wordings I need to use on my written statement to the police? The answer to that is no. You need to include identifying information about the gun, such as the make, the model, the serial number, and things like that. And that's mostly to help with identifying the gun, to make sure you've identified the gun that was stolen, and to create a good timeline of when you've lost possession of the gun. But when it comes to, am I going to accidentally incriminate myself? No. All you need to do is report this information to the police and they will take care of the rest. It's one of the very few times the gun owner is viewed as the victim in a given incident instead of usually as some sort of offender. That's the law's idea, not mine. Finally, while this is all well and good for the criminal system where the penalty is going to jail, what about the civil system where you get sued for millions and millions of dollars because of something you did? Civil liability is going to take the same tack that we've been talking about making a firearm negligently accessible to a child, number one. So if I just set my gun on a coffee table and little Jimmy runs by and picks it up and shoots up the neighborhood, I may be in trouble if I knew or should have known little Timmy was going to run by and pick up that gun. Similarly, if I negligently entrust the gun to somebody. So if I loan it to somebody who I knew or should have known was a bad guy. So for example, if my friend Murderman Jones comes over and says, hey, I need to kill some people, can you loan me a gun? And I just hand it over, then that can lead to civil liability. But outside of that, if I have my gun lost, if I drop it somewhere and someone else picks it up, I had no way of knowing who was going to pick it up. And likewise, if my gun is stolen, I don't have to anticipate that a crime is going to be committed against me under the law. So when it comes to stolen or missing guns, civil liability is not a huge factor. With that said, it's still a good idea to report it stolen or missing anyway.